Analytical reasoning is actually just another term for logic games. It's the formal official term, although most test takers just call it logic games.
Hmm.
So as you mentioned, the GRE is also accepted by some law schools for admissions purposes, although very few people actually get in with a GRE score. And so the LSAT still is the main way to show law schools that you're serious about going to law school, that you're not applying on a whim. If you already, let's say you went to a master's program or a PhD program and you got a perfect GRE score, I would say maybe you just want to apply with that score because it's so good. But a lot of pre-law students really hate math. That's a large part of the reason they're choosing the law path instead of say engineering or computer science. They just are not math people. I certainly wasn't a math person. I would have been terrified of that section. So for me, logic games also seemed a little bit scary at first, but I felt so good about the other sections that for me it was okay. And games ultimately was a very learnable section, maybe more so than math is for a lot of people with more humanities backgrounds. So if someone has a top GRE score, I'd say maybe just apply with that. If you already have some legal background on your resume, you can show to say that you're not just doing this on a whim. But for the vast majority of applicants, they're still going to want to take the LSAT.
How is that the case that law schools accept the GRE, but at the same time you're saying that the GRE doesn't, wouldn't get you that far?
Well, law schools, a couple of years back, the LSAT started getting competition from the GRE. Law
Hmm.
schools were saying, why are we unnecessarily narrowing our applicant pools? Because maybe there's somebody who didn't have time to study for the LSAT and is still a really good candidate for us. We don't want to exclude them from the pool.
Okay.
And so they started going to the American Bar Association and saying, hey, why should the LSAT be the only game in town? The GRE could also be a valid and reliable test. So
Hmm.
technically, a lot of schools are saying, we will consider you even if you don't have an LSAT score on file. But what I'm saying is that in practice, and I've talked to admission officers who confirm this, very few people are actually getting accepted to top law schools with only a GRE score on record. One reason might be that LSAT scores get reported to the American Bar Association, which are then in turn used for the US News Law School ranking. And so if a law school wants to raise its status in the rankings, one thing they can do is they can accept applicants with LSAT scores above their current medians. And so that would be a way for them to raise their median LSAT scores of their matriculating students who are going to their school. So if, let's say, you want to go to a law school that has a 170 LSAT median, you apply with a 175 median, they're going to love to have you because you can help them boost their medians.
Hmm.
If you apply with a GRE, that's going to have no impact on their medians.
Hmm.
So that's not going to boost them up the same way.
I see. So from your standpoint as a law school admissions coach, LSAT prep coach, you have a student who's thinking of taking the GRE in place of the LSAT. Your strongest recommendation would be, if you're trying to get into a T14 law school, you need to consider taking the LSAT. Is that your stance?
That'd be my recommendation for almost
Okay.
everybody.
Okay, I see. If you're ready to embark on the exciting journey of graduate admission in the United States, make sure you're fully prepared by downloading our free ebook, The International Student's Guide to Studying in the United States. Inside, you will find a comprehensive roadmap detailing everything you need to know to succeed. So don't miss out. Click the link in the description section below to download your free copy now.